Good morning, and thank you for joining today's webinar with HP. It's a wonderful day here in sunny Enfield, and I'm really pleased to be joined today with Daniel Smith from HP. Dan, are you there?
Good morning, Ryan. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for having me along today.
No problem at all. It should be a wonderful webinar this morning, and thank you so much for everyone that's joined us this morning. Just a couple of housekeeping bits and pieces with regards to Webinar Jam. On the right hand side, you'll see there's a chat feature. Please do put your questions into that chat window. I'll keep an eye on those, and we'll answer any questions that you have at the end. And we encourage questions, so please do ask questions, and we will pick those up at the end. We are 10 seconds ahead of you, so if we do ask you a question, we've just got to remember that there is a 10-second delay. And the reason for the 10-second delay is there's the opportunity, if there is any technical problems, that we can generate a new room. I've got a panic button just at the top of my screen, and if we do have any technical problems, and touch wood, we won't, but if we do, we can generate a new room and we'll move everyone into the new room. But yeah, really pleased to have Dan today here from HP. And Dan, if you want to share your screen, I'll pass over the mic to yourself.
Fantastic. Brilliant. Thanks for that, Ryan. I trust you can all see the screen okay, and I am going to trust that you could all hear me as well. So thanks for coming along and joining us today in this webinar. This is the ZbyHP and Academia Technology Showcase. As Ryan said, my name is Dan Smith. I'm the Advanced Compute and Cloud Solutions Specialist for the UK and I. Today, my plan is we'll run you a brief overview of our hardware portfolio, including our ever popular market leader mobile workstations and through to our desktop range. Quick overview there before we move on to the bit that we pay particular interest in today, which is the Z Central and the Z4R 1U rack mounted workstations. So without further ado, let's move into the presentation. Apologies, bear with me, slides are just messing around a little. There we go. So you're probably all aware, remote working is one of the hottest topics right now. It's relevant to just about every industry and every sector that there is in the current. It's something that has evolved rapidly over the last 12 to 18 months. We're seeing not only the need for access to high-end compute, such as architects, product development, and those kind of areas, but also the demand is being generated by people needing to offer a variety of working solutions or learning solutions to its user base. And this is certainly one of the results of the pandemic, that many organizations have had to change and adapt and accelerate their digital transformation. It's already something that was coming, but many organizations have had to kind of expedite that right now. A lot of this is being caused by what we call mega trends, and there's certain kind of things that are driving it. So we look at open workspaces. We have more and more companies are adopting open work environments with more like huddle spaces and frequent desk moves to foster better collaborations in project teams. And shared office spaces is also a consideration for cost reasons, and all these are driving the need to centralize the workstation compute in data closets and more secure environments. The world is increasingly becoming a smaller place as work takes place from any time, anywhere, as much as learning does now. Anyone has the ability to sell or indeed to learn and collaborate with anyone, which is really key at any time from anywhere in the world, and this can present a huge impact to security. We've often seen stories in the news about security breaches. Again, another reason is the data explosion. We're getting far more data. 80% of data is actually generated at the edge, and it's fast outpacing the bandwidth required to move that data efficiently and cost effectively to the cloud, which means access and manipulate and analyze that data. You need more and more compute power at the edge. Demographics is always a difficult one as well. We have multiple generations in the workforce at all times, but currently we have approximately 5 different generations within the working environment, from millennials, next generation of workers, baby boomers that are delaying retirement. All have different expectations, all work in a different manner, and all need to be able to work effectively and be able to focus more on being able to drive that work-life balance and being able to work efficiently and effectively. More and more people we're seeing are interested in a freelance or a gig style environment, and we're seeing that rise rapidly, certainly over the last few months. So let's take a little look at where we currently are, and we'll talk about the new normal. Is something that I think we're all well versed in now. But we're in a place now where we're not putting a band-aid over a solution to try and fix it now because of a situation that's been brought on. We're now in a place where we're able to envisage the future a little bit and also plan for the future in terms of what our working environment is going to be like, or our education environment is going to be like. We've had to change a lot of how we do things. As I mentioned earlier, again, lots of different reasons to why that is. Certainly from a working environment, I say we've got lots of different multiple end users that all require different things. Where we work, where we learn has changed. May have used to have been in an education facility or in a work office or a home office, for example, but more and more people are working remotely. They're working in coffee shops, hotel coffee lounges, airports, plane, trains, automobiles, wherever they can work. People are generally working these days. And what thought is it is given to those people to make them work as effectively as they can do, with so many different trends and so many different styles of work? It must be a nightmare for an IT manager to deal with and to cope with that, because they traditionally require reliability, they require security, and also the ease of manageability. Now, to design end user and workspace centric solutions, we've got to closely work with IT and facility departments now. It's not just a case of putting a desktop on a desk and allowing people to work or learn. It's a lot more thought is being given to how that person works and the experience they have through that situation. So moving on to the hardware side of things, having set the scene a bit there. So this is our visual map here of our mobile solutions. So you see in the top left-hand corner there, we have the ZBook Firefly. This is our lightest mobile workstation that comes in at an ultra-light, sort of around 3.1 pounds. So it's a super light device. Provide enough power for those that are always on the go, but need the power to design in 2D and maybe view some 3D iterations as well. I used the Firefly 15. I previously used the 14. When I took that step between the 14 and 15 during lockdown, there was very little difference in terms of size and weight, but lovely for working at home right now. We move right across to the top right hand corner. We've got the ZBook Fury 15 and 17 inch. These are our peak of the performance, true powerhouse devices. and they're great. They allow customers not only to create 3D designs and VR and view VR scenes, but create the VR scenes as well as they go. Moving down, we've got the more price-conscious customers that to look to the more value area of the ladder, and we've got the ZBook Power. This is our most affordable mobile workstation and provides like a pro performance at an optimized price point, whilst remaining that software certification necessities as well. In the middle of these three qualities are the ZBook Studio and the ZBook Create. These are lightweight, capable of VR, and also reasonable price point as well. We do have a wide variety of platforms that would suit most, if not every need. Just to give you an update, we are currently on the Generation 8, so the Firefly G7 and G8 are the current platforms, along with the Fury is currently G7, the Power and the Studio Create are currently G7, but they will all be released to Generation 8 in the coming weeks. So the Generation 7 will still remain a valid product and a product that will be around for many months to come, but we are moved to Generation 8 with the update of the Intel processors, all right? And of course, NVIDIA GPUs as well. So moving on to desktops, again, we take the same format in terms of the slide pattern here. So the most versatile workstations, Z2 Mini and the Z2 FF, they're small form factors. They're great for people that are space conscious, like in a classroom setting or a place where desk space is appreciated. Especially with the Mini, you can mount it in multiple different areas. You can mount it behind your display, within a security sleeve as well, so you can protect all the ports, but also you can mount it on the back of the screen, as I say, to have that kind of an all-in-one type environment, so saving desk space. You can mount it under a desk, but you can also rack mount it as well, so get it completely away and secure. So lots of options around that. Again, we move across to the top right with the Z6 and Z8. These are our true powerhouses. These are monster desktops that can calculate billions of rows of data. Can also, as I say, there's not really much to say about them other than the fact they are true powerhouses. Specs are just off the scale in terms of when I first started IT. I wasn't selling network servers that were as powerful as those devices are today. So it's quite phenomenal as to how much power you can put into those devices. Moving down again is the value ladder. We look at the Z1 entry tower. Again, this is our best price desktop workstation for those on maybe a limited budget, or for certainly the more price conservative. Again, it's certified for many of the professional applications required for today's environment. For the more price conscious, again, we stick with the Z2 tower as well. Again, hitting next step up in terms of expandability and performance, but whilst trying to keep that price point to a reasonable place. Again, it's great for those 3D designers who are starting to begin their journey into VR. All right. Again, moving to the middle of these three qualities, we have the Z4. The Z4 is a perfect balance between performance and price, so frequencies, cores, performance, that kind of thing. It's great for those who need to render models and see them updated in real time. For those that are in a particularly space conscious location, whilst needing high performance, the Z Central 4R is a 1U rackable workstation. This is our new kind of hero product in the desktop lineup, if you like, for HP. It was launched late last year, and we have been waiting to deliver this product for quite some time. And we're really pleased that we're able to put it out at a time when people need remote access, because along with our Z Central software, we can, I'll go into more detail about that in a minute, but you condense the powers you need into a small form factor whilst still being able to access that performance remotely. And it's that piece of the puzzle that I'm going to look into in more detail for you today. Looking at, again, one thing we've realized is that remote working, it doesn't always have to be based around mobile platforms. It's not always about mobility. Users do need the high level performance that you would get from a desktop PC and the stability that you would know you can get from a desktop PC. but also be able to access it wherever you are, as I said earlier. Another short video here before we move on.
Dan, there's no audio on the videos, but what we'll do is if we can share the links after the webinar, and then people can rewatch them with the audio.
No problem at all. Thanks for jumping in, Ryan. We appreciate that.
That's okay.
No problem. Okay, so yeah, as Ryan says, we'll look at those links a bit later on. So that's this moves us nicely onto this little animation of the Z Central 4R. It is the world's most powerful 1U rack-mounted workstation. True one-to-one remote deployment of high-end compute for the most demanding of users. When I say world's most powerful, we're talking up to 16 cores. We get a dual PSU, so dual power supply units, either in a redundancy setup, or we can aggregate the power for higher-end graphics. So we take up to an RTX 8000 in this device, and it's all condensed into a 1U form factor. Some other features that we're looking to that we can share with you today. So Z Central Remote Boost software is the key point to this, I guess, in terms of its this is the software that allows you to remotely access your hardware. So this is formerly known as RGS. Some of you may have known it as Remote Graphics Software. Z Central Remote Boost is the same base software, however, it has far greater usability and capabilities within this product. As I say, so it's a one-to-one dedicated connection. So, for example, I could be sat here in my home office on a thin client or a tablet. For some reason, I would work on a tablet, and I can access the power of a high-end workstation anywhere else in the world and view the pixels and the image that is being sent from that device. So no data is being shared. It's all encrypted from end to end as well. So VPN connection is all encrypted. And it will support Windows 10 touch and gestures like that. Specialized client hardware such as 3D mice, financial trade. Have support for Wacom tablets now, which is something we've been working on to improve upon over the past few months. You get to one wonderful thing with this bit of software is you get to collaborate in real time by sharing the desktop. So if I am working at home, I can desktop with up to 10 other colleagues, and I can either grant them access just to view what I'm, or if I want, I can give them full interactive control, and they can show me in real time what it is they want to get across or whatever. So lots and lots of choices to it, and there's, as I say, we're finding this as a really, really great solution, certainly in the current climate, for the power of this software, the security of the software, and the fact that RGS software, again, some of you may or may not be aware, is HP's kind of worst or best kept secret, depending on how you view it. So RGS has shipped with every Z workstation since, I don't know, probably about the last 8 years, something like that. Unfortunately, not many people are aware of it and tend to kind of wipe over it with an image. Now, the wonderful thing about RGS is that it sits within the BIOS. So even if you have done exactly that with an image, you can still download the software and it will pick up that license key within the BIOS. So from anyone that has an outstanding ZbyHP workstation, wants to test this software, we can get you a free license, or as I say, you can just access the license on your current device. So there's people out there that are on non-HP devices. Again, this is the beauty of the product, is the fact that it's agnostic in its manufacturer. So you can buy these licenses as separate licenses, and sit them on any other hardware, be it made by Lenovo, Dell, or anybody. The software itself will be, you can buy it as a standalone license to sit on your performance network at the moment. So rack-mounted ZbyHP workstations. So any of our workstations can be rack-mounted. They allow the customers to co-locate the data and the compute. So you can put your compute power next to your storage racks, so you get a nice short distance there for sharing that data. So we get ultimate security, but also faster load times as well. We get a predictable performance because, as I say, it's a one-to-one deployment. And again, obviously, we're still backed up by the professional graphics and ISV applications. Essential Remote Boost will allow you to access that power. It will turn your end user device into a workstation. As I say, it can literally be anything that you're looking to, that you would normally use at home. So you could set, it could be a PC on a Windows Home license or something like that. So we don't need any special licensing. And it allows that, say, multi-screen setups, also allows that greater collaboration as well. This is the bit that really helps from an IT end user perspective, sorry, IT manager's perspective. So Z Central Connect is a broker. So we have a one-to-one deployment, which from an IT manager's perspective, you might look at and go, ouch, how do I manage all of that? You manage all of that through Z Central Connect, which is again, it's a separate standalone license. It's a license that is, even if you're a ZbyHP customer, there is a license fee, but compared with other resources out of the marketplace, it's very, very competitively priced. But what this does is it allows you to easily manage the remote connections. So you can share a pool of workstations, for example. So in a classroom setting, you can share that pool of workstations for one particular class. It's a simple user interface, and as I say, you're also able to remotely manage user connections. So if somebody wants to use a device, they hit the connect button, the IT manager can give access to that device. But equally, if they forget to log off, the IT manager can go in and can essentially boot that customer off as well, and can clear that user to allow somebody else access to it. Again, so faster access to company storage. Workstations are then located in a data closet, which is often a power and cooling optimized room. And the remote software just enables users to work as if they were sat in the office or classroom. Again, it allows access, it allows freedom, and again, you get to access the workstation performance from a thin and light device. Again, we're moving to Z Central Connector a little bit just to give a bit more information on this. So it allows, as I say, ITGMs to manage the HP and non-HP devices in a virtualized all the virtualized workstations into a one simple interface. Again, simplicity of simple click to connect the device. So what you see on the screen there is the interface, and you can see the little dots there where the IT manager can allow access. You can remotely power the devices up and down as well. So again, it allows for that, saving the power consumption there as well when the devices aren't needed. So keeping the running cost to a minimum as well. This is the, excuse me a second. This is the bit that we're particularly excited about for an education setting, is the fact you're able to now reserve. We have a scheduling tool, so you're now able to reserve use of those devices. So you may have a suite of workstation devices in a classroom setting. These are used at multiple times during the day, whether it be in situ or remotely, but you can provide access to those devices for a class at a time. So or you can say half the class is going to be used for a particular function, the other half of the class is going to be used for another particular function. So you're able to again maximize the performance, maximize the investment in those devices as well. You may have a suite of lower end devices that are particularly relevant for a particular part of a course. Again, later on in that course, they might need higher end devices, but they don't need access to higher end devices all the time. So again, it gets you the access to those devices and gets you to share them through the Teams. Excuse me, come back a few slides there. This is just another look at the scheduler process. Again, nice and easy, really quick and easy process to flow. We can get demo licenses and everything for all this for anybody out there that may want to share and to explore this in more detail. Just to give a quick visualization of trying to really make this work. So this would be a traditional setup, so I can work fast in this machine. This is a local situation. I'm connected directly into the workstation. I have all my GPU, I have all my CPU, I have all my memory, I have all my storage, and I've got my ISV certification. It's all there. It's simple, and I know what I'm getting. We put in Z Central as a layer in there. You still get that one-to-one remote access to your graphics, to your CPU, to your power that you need. But you also get the access to centralized storage as well. All right, through the remote boost license, I say low-end computer at the other end. You just need the screen and obviously the compute power there to visualize something, to visualize the data that's being shared. But as I say, the data is not being shared. I was getting my lines mixed up. But in terms of getting the to view the data that you're actually working on, rather than actually sharing that data, I beg your pardon. What's quite interesting is you also get access to reports remotely as well. So you can centralize, you can add in different USB devices remotely as well. So anything you plug into your local device can still be picked up and used on the end, the workstation as well. So again, get fast access to projects. They load nice and quick. And from a Z Central Connect manager sitting over the top, he's quite happy. He can access his remote offices and hire top talent from anywhere in the world. Allow students to access the education setup from again anywhere in the world. Now, where this is slightly different to a virtualized workstation environment, I just wanted to have a quick chat to kind of go through this. So how this differs from a virtualized environment is you would have many different kind of virtual environments of virtual software, virtual workstations. Essentially, what you're doing is you are carving up the power. You're carving up the graphics card, which then you pay extra license fees for doing. You carve up the storage and all that sort of stuff. And basically, what that means is that from an end user, you don't get that consistent performance. It might work fine for others, but it doesn't work for everybody. Whilst Z Central Remote Boost will still deliver its job and will still do what it's meant to do, the performance will be it can only show you what it can show you. So it will only display the data that it has access to, and again, the performance point of view is completely inconsistent there as well. And obviously, the last thing is that we're proud to say that it has won as an engineering Emmy. This is the last part of my slides today. Just so that we have won an engineer Emmy for it, which is just fantastic for us to see, and is a real testament to the work that we do to innovate and access our technologies. So as I say, that is it from me today. I think I'm tight on time. I mean, I'm okay for time if you want to just run a few questions there, Ryan.
Yeah, there's a couple of questions, and thank you very much for that, Dan. And we'll share the links to the videos after the webinar. So apologies for the audio there. In terms of questions, we've got one here from George. He's put, can you also hear the internal computer sounds with Z Central Remote Boost software?
Yes, you can. Yeah, there's no limitations from a sound perspective there as well. So yeah, that's not a problem.
And Mo's asked, does the Z Central Remote work on a Mac?
As a receiver or a sender? As a receiver, yes, you can most definitely have it on a receiver license. As a sender, I don't know that we're compliant on that OS as yet, but I'll need to double check.
Okay, there's one that's just come in now, which is what are the OSs that it works with the client?
So obviously the workstation itself can be, so as a receiving device, you can have Windows, you can have Mac OS, you can have Linux, and we're currently working on Chrome Enterprise as well, and we're hoping to get a release around that later on this year.
Okay, we've got one here from Donald. It's got lag latency issues. What are the like for real-time 3D editing, i.e. game engines, etc.?
Okay, good question, Donald. So essentially, we have very little latency, and in terms of our software and what we do, we have very little latency. Obviously, I can't approach a conversation around a particular bandwidth, but in terms of our bandwidth that we need, it's very, very small. So in order to get access to that data, it's not an issue in terms of the bandwidth. But obviously, I can't. Fluctuations in bandwidth can sometimes knock things out. But in terms of what we do, in terms of lag and latency, it's very, very minimal.
Cool. Thank you for that. I think that is all the questions for now. If anyone's got any more questions, please by all means fire them into the chat. We'll stick around as it is another one that's just come in. What are the requirements on the network regarding the usability?
In terms of bandwidth, I'm assuming that is, Andre. Again, it's very, very minimal. Something, it's just it works on a home network more than sufficiently. The bandwidth required to run it is very, very minimal. I noticed there's another question there from Chris about software licenses. Some software detects it is on VM and does not run, needs a license per machine. It's a really valid point in the fact that not all software licenses are compliant to run in a virtualized environment. Whereas because we're not essentially virtualizing anything, our workstations run that certification process and are certified to run those bit of software. And the fact you're not sharing that data, you're not sending that data anywhere, the data remains with the software on the license. And Adobe does it, absolutely. And it's really key that that's one of the key features, I guess, is the fact that VMware or virtualized environments aren't always certified to run that software, whereas we will be, and we are. Again, I guess my takeaway would be anyone that has an interest, reach out to myself, reach out to the team at Academia. We'll be more than happy to help and support you. I say we can get you trial licenses if you want to do your own demos and your own testing. You're more than happy to do that. We can certainly help support that.
Brilliant. There's one just come in there from George. How can we confirm if Z Central Remote Boost software works as a sender on a Mac?
Again, George, we do one or two things. You can bear with me and I'll get you that answer. Secondly, feel free to download the software and give it a trial. What I do is when I send the links to the videos, I'll also send you the links to the download for the software as well.
That'd be great. Thank you for that, Dan. That'd be brilliant.
No problem at all.
I think that is all the questions. I'm just double checking I haven't missed any. Apologies as they fire in. I do sometimes miss them, so thanks for picking up that one I missed. But here's one here, another one. How do we get the trial license? We'll send out the links on the email, so I'll send an email after I receive all the details from Dan, and we'll share those with you, and I'll copy Dan in so you can pick up conversations directly as well.
If you bear with me 2 seconds, I will pop the link in the chat so people can go off and do it now as well if they want.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you so much. And thank you for everyone that's joined us. I hope you found that useful. I don't believe there's any more questions, but what I'll do is we'll play the video now just to end the webinar, but we will stick around in the background. So if anyone wants to stay on and ask questions, we can pick those up. Sure. In the background, we'll stick on for a few minutes. But thank you again, Dan. That was really really great session. And we'll fire out the emails to the videos, and you've got the link there for the trial, which is fantastic. So great stuff. I hope everyone has a wonderful Tuesday. Again, really appreciate everyone's time this morning, and we will see you all again soon. Many thanks.
Thanks everybody. Thanks for having me.